There's something wrong with the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is askew.
Homegrown Radio. Real 92.3.
All right, we back at it, Homegrown Radio. Chuck Dizzle, DJ Head in the building right
West
now,
Coast.
man. We got a living legend, man. A guy, I use those words very, very seriously as right now, man. We got Ninth Wonder in the building with us
What's
right
up,
now,
brother?
bro.
How you
Appreciate you
doing?
coming on through and hanging out with us for the night, bro.
Thank you, man.
You look very
Appreciate it.
enthused.
Man, this is a conversation that happened before
Prior.
this even started.
It's
When I walked in.
It's gonna be
You saying?
more throughout the night, man. I'm just gonna let you know
That's
right now
cool.
it's happening,
I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
So, Knight, just starting off, man. Obviously, folks know you're a producer, but you got other hats and other things that you do, man. Going down, list everything that Ninth Wonder does.
We got that kind of time.
We got time, bro. We got time. I think people need to know.
I mean, well, first and foremost, I have a label called Jamla, and that's number one out on our list, I believe. As a matter of fact, I know it is.
Okay.
And so I have everybody here. We're going to get everybody. in a second.
Absolutely.
The second thing is that I'm in academia. I teach at 3 universities. I teach at North Carolina Central, which is my alma mater. Although I didn't graduate, we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Duke University, which is 5 miles away, and Harvard University is the 3 that I teach. I'm on the Hip Hop Council at the Kennedy Center, and the rap committee at the Smithsonian Institute, the Blacksonian, as we call it.
Amazing.
I got a little league girls basketball team my daughter plays on.
Crazy.
We nice.
Come see us.
Come see us,
Yeah.
please. Man, just a little bit of everything, man. I'm the head of Black Jedi Zulu. We used to be a part of Zulu Nation, but we're a standalone Zulu chapter now, and we do great things for the community and for the arts. And man, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, man.
Man, a lot of hats that you wear, man.
You know what I'm saying?
a lot of hats that you
babysit on the
wear,
side
man. Like, what else, right?
Fuck.
You know what, man? You know what's crazy about that, man? I love arm babies,
Got
man.
30,000 daycare centers opening nationwide next week.
You know what? I'm
You
from the
could
South,
do that?
man. I love babies. I love arm babies, man. Babies age 3 months to 10 months, right before you start walking. So I always told myself, I said, I'm gonna run me a daycare, man, when this
One of
all
those
over
things.
with. Yeah, man, because I grew up babysitting and stuff like that, man. That's
But
what
where
it
did
is.
this knack for taking on a lot of roles come from? Like,
I don't think it's taking on a lot of roles at all. I think it's one role, and it's culture. Everything I'm involved in is in culture or whatever. Like, whether it be from the academic side or I do a lot of stuff with Nike EYBL basketball. Shouts to my man Carlton Dubose and Eric Lombach at Nike and Jason Maiden, Superheroic. But I do a lot of stuff with like basketball and talking to youth, and you know what I mean? Because every semester I teach at Duke, I have the Duke starting 5 in my classroom anyway. And so, just trying to meld it all together, man. Just culture, just culture across the board. So it's not like it's a lot of jobs. It's just one job for me.
Right.
It's culture is what it is.
but not too many people. I mean, when you just list those things, not too many people can't handle those roles. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
And for sure, you do it in a way where everything seemed together. Like you said, it's one role that you have, but again, you multitask to the point where it doesn't seem as if it's so many things that's going on at one time.
Nah, man, I'm leaving my class at Central, going to Duke, going to Harvard, talking to Nike kids, talking to my girls basketball team, Smithsonian, all talking about hip hop.
Yeah.
It's the same thing across the board. I make the music, I talk about the music no matter where I am. So it's not like I'm leaving here and going, I'm plumbing and then I'm an electrician.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all hip hop,
Right.
so it's easy for me,
Jamla Records, man. Talk
What's up
about
with
it, man. We got the whole squad, it seems like, in the
Hey,
building,
you
man.
came in here like we was about to go start a fight.
He said we gonna fight at the source. Y'all about to fight at the source.
Yeah, like we was about to go pick a fight at the Source Awards. Y'all came in here real deep, real thick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Just a legacy of understanding the history of conglomerates or crews, whether it be TDE, which is just our family, Most Dope, and shouts to the Most Dope family and the late Mac Miller, which is my brother. All the way back going towards whether it be Juice Crew or NWA. Like I studied the history of crews or conglomerates, and this is mine, and that's what it is. So I'm gonna start. I don't know where everybody at. You know what I mean?
I mean, start
I'm
from
starting over here.
start from the east wing.
I'm gonna start from
The room, right? Make it a little easier for everybody.
Got my one of the producer team for Jamla is called the Soul Council.
Okay.
And so one of my Soul Council brothers, producer Crisis over here.
Shouts out.
Another brother, Soul Council brother of mine. This is E. Jones right here.
Shouts out.
The youngest, the baby of Jamla, which
Okay.
when he raps, he sounds like he's 30 years old.
Man.
Is Ruben Vincent right here.
Shouts out.
The newest signee of Jamla from Oakland, California, who just put out a joint
West
called
Coast.
Champion. This is Ian Kelly behind me right here.
Ian, what up? What up?
The songbird of Jamla right behind me from Wilson, North Carolina, is Miss Heather Victoria, right? The brother beside her, also from Oakland, California, and played basketball for the University of North Carolina Tar
I can
Heels.
see that.
2005 national championship team, but rap his face off, man. It's GQ. Okay.
Shouts out GQ.
You know what I'm saying? And he ain't in Jamla, but we're gonna talk about him anyway.
He just
No. This is
So you hold the pistol.
right. It's funny that you say that, DJ
It's
Head.
funny that you say that.
this
I just
is
shoot a motherfucker on the way up.
this is this is my one of my good friends and Black Jedi brother and Black Jedi Zulu. We do a lot of community work together, and he doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna say it now. The new vice president of Black Jedi Zulu, MJ.
Okay.
So you just found that out with us.
He just found it out.
Salute, man.
Checking the mail.
So we're gonna talk about it in the studio tonight, but hey,
anyway, it's gonna happen. Right.
So yeah, man. But last but not least, one of our good friends who is also a family member of ours who comes from R&B royalty, Miss Wyan Vaughn.
Man, shouts out, man.
So, yeah,
Shouts
we
out.
just put out an incredible book, and you need to get that. So
Now with let's talk about the album the project that just came out. Album. Welcome to Jamla 2, right?
yeah, Jamla 2. Jamla's a squad.
Jamla's a squad
and
too.
Rhapsody's at the studio.
Shouts
by
out
the
to
way,
Rhapsody working her ass off.
Yes.
Okay.
Shout out to Rhapsody.
Yes.
Now for you guys, I know you did one back in 2014,
Yeah.
right? So for this one, what was the mindset going into this go round and putting it together? And was there any mindsets, any expectations this go round to obviously put out there to
Just to show growth, Jamla's a Squad 2 is basically just a celebration of our friends and, who we call family in music.
Yeah.
We don't work with anybody who we don't feel like we can go out to eat with. We just not getting a whole bunch of people on the record just because. And that, whether it be Cole, whether it be Busta Rhymes, Amber from Moonchild, who else on there? Conway, Big Crit, David Banner. Like all of those are our people.
Wow.
Like we've had meaningful conversations with those guys and women. But, the most important thing is, again, it's a study of history. I've always been a fan of like compilation albums, whether it be Pete Rock Soul Survival or Sound Bombing 1 and 2, regardless of what. So, just trying to do that and keep that going and just to show diversity of what we can do. Staying within the realm of what we do.
Right,
we don't try to leave, we have a big circle of things we can do, but we don't try to leave that circle. And we don't try to leave our lane, but our lane is wide. So, yeah.
What I find interesting about that is that you don't, again, and it's kind of just showing the brilliance of what's in your mind as well, is not getting distracted. I mean, you got so many personalities, so many dope artists that's out there, but yet putting it together and make it seamless. Like, how do you not get distracted and not say, okay, well, yeah, we got to work on this project, and putting the project together itself without veering off and saying, okay, well, we can hold off and not do it because we have this we're working on.
I mean, we get distracted sometimes. I mean, that's what happens. What helps us is we live in North Carolina, which means, it's not as busy. It's a busy place, but it's not as busy as in New York and Los Angeles. And it's funny because Bad Luck and I talk
Shouts
about it
out to
all the
Luck,
time.
yeah.
Every time he would visit us, he was like, man, I can just come out here and work, and just do our thing. We're not distracted because we're not trying to compete with what's going on or what's around us. It's just us. But even in the studio, while we're working on Jamla's a Squad, we're working on Rap's new album.
Yeah.
We're trying to finish Heather's project. A lot of us stuff is live. Yeah. We're trying to get Ian joint out. Ruben is working. Q is working. I'm working on my beat tape. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Flying around at one time.
How do you
know what I mean?
prioritize what needs to come out at what point? Like, if you're working on all these things at one time, do you then say, okay, well, look, we got majority of this out of the way. Let's knock this out. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, we hadn't had Jamla's a Squad compilation out in 4 years, so that it's about time us to do that because we were trying to re-up to kind of let everybody know what was happening after the Grammy run for rap going to the Grammys and doing all of that stuff. So now, following up with her being on Black Girls Rock and all of the great stuff she's been doing, now it's really time to showcase why things are kind of pointed towards our way. Yeah. They're like, okay, here's our compilation to introduce everybody else again, and then we followed it right back up with Champion, like right behind it. You know what I mean? And come January, we got between January and April, we probably got 4 projects to release.
When I was listening to the project, I felt like it was definitely true to Ninth Wonder. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, I don't know. Let me ask you this: do you feel like the South get credit, the credit that they deserve, that y'all deserve for for the hip hop that y'all are capable of?
I think so. Yeah, matter of fact, I know so.
South got the longest running in the game right now.
But I'm not talking about like the tradition. I'm talking about some hip hop straight up bars, lyricism, exercise, schemes. Like I don't know. From my personal experience, I haven't always seen that the South get credit for that type of shit.
I mean, that's kind of a deeper conversation. That's a social conversation because you got to think how people view the South. People sometimes believe South is being slow and dumb. You know what I mean? So with that, we're not capable of putting together music like that. Right. Although history tells us we had Outkast.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And for people that always say, well, you make boom bap beats. I thought you was from the North. And I'm like, but James Brown's from Georgia. Didn't he start it off? So I get confused. You know what I mean?
Like, what are we talking about?
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's what it is for me. Like, Ghetto Boys is from the South. Like Scarface is from the South. Like if you take your top 20 rappers,
you got a nice little
a lot of people from the South.
Right, and not a lot of chunk of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of people from the South in there. You know what I mean? Which one of those cats from the South is widely considered to a generation being the GOAT, Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? So we start doing that. Hey,
it's like what we talking about.
It's what we talking about.
Do you ever get offended by that?
No.
No?
Because turn your beat machine on, nigga. That's what I tell you.
Because I noticed, and you're right, and this is what I do want to give you credit for. Like you said, a lot of your stuff is live, and I noticed that too. Like even with you have Pharrell and Timbaland, and like that should be live instrumentation. You know what I'm saying? And I think like that's stereotypically not what people pay attention to coming from that area.
That's what's crazy about, people like to try to take Timbaland and Pharrell out of being the South. But last time I checked, you had to cross the top of Maryland to be a free slave, bro. Mason Dixon started at the top of Maryland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so Maryland on down is considered the South. That's all of those were Confederate states. Right. So therefore, you can't exclude Timbaland and Pharrell and Teddy Riley. You can't exclude those people. Yeah. So that's what it is.
Now I got a question too about this too. We talked to our good friend Terrace Martin, and it was based off of a question I've seen with Pharrell. Pharrell says he sees music as colors.
Yep.
So, and Terrace said the same thing.
I said too.
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck Terrace was talking about.
We were trying to explain, like, so for you, what color? If you can just kind of run off some colors as far as music for you, what do you see like? When you hear like a kick drum or whatever, like what is that? How does it work?
My thing is, if you look at the history of music, like especially the history of rap music, man, the science behind like artwork feels how the album sounds. So therefore, the Fugees' score, it sounds brown and orange to me. It doesn't sound like a blue or a hot red.
Gotcha,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a brown. You know what I mean? The Black album by Jay-Z, that was gray and black all day long.
Yeah.
It was dark. It was this. It was that. Aquemini sounds colorful, many colors. So look at the cover of it. So that's that's what we're talking about.
Where can I get some of these contact lenses?
Where are you buying this?
I don't know what the fuck y'all be talking about.
Okay. So blue, gray, and black. Those words sound. I mean, those colors are cold. You see you understand what I mean? Black is cold. Gray, blue. Those are cold colors. Brown is warm. Orange is a warm. You see what I mean?
Got you.
So that's what it. You feel what I'm saying?
Nah,
Now?
I feel that.
So that's what
There
that's
it
how
is.
that's how we see. So,
But I feel like
that's how we
sometimes
get
it could be up for interpretation as well. Like
could be.
when you say brown, I hear warm, but I can see where it can be cold as well.
It could be.
But you're right. Gray, black, very
those are
cold for
definitely-
sure.
but
For
like,
sure.
You know, but orange and the browns is like, you know, if you go back all the way like Marvin Gaye when he was in the studio back in the day, like look at the color of the inside of their studios. They made sure that they felt had that some type of energy to it. It wasn't a whole bunch of blacks in there.
Right,
it was
right,
like
right.
browns and oranges and you know what I mean?
So an old Cameron album would be pink. I'm just shooting here. I don't,
I'm trying to throw spaghetti on the wall. See what we doing here.
I mean, you can hear the difference between if you take the first three Kanye albums, College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation.
that I can relate to. Okay.
Those three, looking at the cover and listening to the music, it matches all the way through. You know what I mean? Graduation was more colorful the way it sounded.
right,
you know
right.
what I mean? College Dropout, same thing. It was brown and you know whatever. And then Late Registration sounded like he was in a different place. And even he was the bear walking through that like cold, dark school. It felt like that when you played it.
Right.
So yeah,
What's your favorite Kanye album?
Graduation.
Graduation.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I just felt like whatever he was trying to accomplish on, I wouldn't say trying to accomplish, whatever he was shooting for on College Dropout and Late Registration, he took both of those, what he learned, and put them together on Graduation.
That.
It were more focused, big sounding records, appealing to everybody. That's what it was for me. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't miss on that record.
Yeah.
He didn't miss on it. You know, the one that everybody's like, was a drunken hot white girl. That joint, the one. But I mean, if you look at it from that standpoint, that record was the halftime to Nas's Illmatic. Halftime was a record that you just listened to get to. Not to say it wasn't good, but you just listened to get to the rest of the album. That's how that was. So he didn't miss.
Hey, something I always wanted to ask you is where do you draw your inspiration from musically? Because like I know musicians and you're their favorite producer.
Right.
You're a musician's favorite producer. So like where are you drawing your shit from?
Just, you know, I'm again, going back to the North Carolina piece, I'm lucky enough to be away from all of, you know, I can still keep hip hop a fantasy. If I lived in New York all the time, I would see DJ Premier all the time. And it would wear down to me, and I'm like, oh, there go Preem. You know what I mean? Although he's the great person that he is and what he's accomplished, I can still stay far away from it enough. So when I see a Busta Rhymes, I'm like, man, ELE and Anarchy and da-da-da-da. So I can stay away from it. So that's what keeps me inspired. I still fantasize about the culture.
Gotcha.
I still fantasize about hip-hop enough to stay inspired. I don't get tired of it.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about a second ago. You said the Black Album. Obviously, we're just celebrating 20 years of that,
15,
right?
15
I'm sorry, 15 years of that.
But 20 years today is Busta Rhymes ELE.
Congratulations on that's amazing,
my
amazing.
dude.
So talk about that because I saw a thread that I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, right? That you were talking about that experience, man. Can you just break that down for our listeners?
We got that kind of time.
We got time, man.
Man, you know,
You can give us the footnotes if you want to.
yeah,
but
real quick,
yeah,
man.
please.
That was the summer of 03. I didn't know I was going to make any album. I think at the time I was selling beats for like $200, $300. I just sold a beat to Master Ace called Good Old Love for $2,000. That was like jumping from $300 mailing people money orders. This 2003.
Yeah.
To Master Ace Good Old Love. So still I didn't think I would be Black Album or anything of that magnitude. Because you got to understand, like, people was like putting you're going to work with Most in Common and just those quote-unquote usual suspects or whatever. Because they thought the sound of my music went with what they said.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody would put me with, you know what I mean?
Right.
Especially the method I made beats with was Fruity Loops.
Right.
Nobody would put me there. You know, not even me. So, you know, I knew somebody who I had met earlier that year. We became cool and said, if I ever hear somebody that need beats, I'll let you know. This guy ended up becoming the head videographer for Fade to Black.
Wow.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And which always goes to show you, man, be always mindful who you talking to because you never know who knows who.
Right.
I learned that from Harry Belafonte, man. Watch the toes you step on because you never know the leg it's attached to. So I always make sure I I don't be like trying to nobody. So he ended up meeting Young Guru. Crazy. Because he doing all the video for Fade to Black. Young Guru brought my name up, called me. Well, he told him to call me. Got me on the phone. Guru said, can you come up here? I went up to New York. I played 29 beats for Jay. And he asked to hit a CD on the way home. He came back Monday. That was a Saturday. He came back Monday. We listened to some more beats. He reached up on the CD. He reached up on the speaker and said, I got this joint called Threat. Here go R. Kelly, A Woman's Threat. Can you do something with it? I'll be back in 25 minutes. I hope you got something.
I'll be back in 25 minutes.
He said, I'm going somewhere. I'll be back. Hope you got something.
Right. This,
So
this is the opportunity for you.
This is it. Make it or break it.
Right.
So, I made the beat and that was it. He came back and he got in the booth. I said, what you think? He said, I think it's dope. We put it up on the board. Guru turned it up. He got in the studio. He got in the booth. He said, Knife one on the track, and that was it.
Now, in that moment, when he says you got 25 minutes, is it...
Hold up. All right.
Is it?
Did you just hear what he just said?
I did. Hold on. Is it pressure?
Don't just blow past
No, listen. Is it? We're gonna come back to that. Is it pressure or is it like, oh, I know I'm gonna kill this? When he says 25 minutes, at that point for you, knowing that this is your shot, I hope you got something. 25 minutes. Are you like, yeah, I got this, or let me see what I got?
And for all my athletes in the room, especially my man Q, he understands. Athletes speak on the idea of muscle memory, right? Doing the same thing all the time. Because at the time, I was doing this with beats. No matter if I was sitting in front of Jay-Z or my mama, I'm gonna make beat. So that's what it was. I just went to that space. I was like, man, I'm just make a beat.
Right.
Not I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that.
Got you.
And not to be there and say, I'm gonna do something outside of myself. I'm here for a reason. He liked what I had.
Right.
So I'm not gonna make anything different. So I did what I did, and that's that.
I think it's so important you said it that way, because oftentimes, whether it be artists or just anybody in general that get these opportunities, they feel like, oh, I'm in that moment. And it's nothing wrong with thinking outside the box, but you got to stay true to what you've been doing to get in the room.
Right.
And the fact that you said muscle memory, like, let me just keep going, do what I do.
Right.
And it worked out in your favor, obviously. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was a pressure situation.
Of course.
But at the time, Jay-Z became just a homie. I'm just sitting in the studio making beats for.
Yeah.
And that's what it became. After I got over the fact that, okay, he got these shoes with a star on the side. They look like Nikes, but they ain't. I don't know what they are. Like, and this he had on Bapes before Bapes was even here.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I was like, hey, yo, what's them? You know what I mean? Look, but it was, getting out of that, seeing stuff for the first time. This is like not all the time Instagram in your face all the way. You know what I mean? You seeing these people for the first time. You seeing Just Blaze sitting right here, and you seeing Freeway walk in, and Memphis Bleak and Cedric Entertainers down the hall, and it was a lot at the same time. But you just got to do what you got to do, man.
Now going into this collaboration with Jay, were you also under the assumption that this was his last album?
Yeah, we all were. We thought this was it. It was the movie.
Yeah.
It was everything. He kept asking me, you ready to be a part of history?
It's like, God.
Damn.
Yeah, you look, man. Yeah. Listen.
So how many times did you throw up? Like, did you? I'm dead ass serious. Like,
yo, man,
that don't feel like that's not. That's why I want you to like. I know this is this your life. This ain't my life. I do radio. I'm saying Hov ain't tell me I got 25 minutes to do shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, you didn't really. You in the moment, you wasn't like processing that. Like,
not because I didn't expect it to happen so fast. I didn't. Jay-Z was not on my timeline.
Right.
The timeline I thought I had for myself.
Fact. Yeah.
Now, if I was in a room with Most Def and Quality, Black Star, I might not have made it. Because I'm thinking that's on my timeline.
Ah, okay.
Jay wasn't on my, so I'm like, I was tripping.
Yeah.
But more people around me that I was calling was really
I was like, nigga, what you gonna do?
They was like, man, you in the room. And I knew, of course, we know who Jay-Z was. But again, it wasn't on my trajectory. So I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to just do what I got to do. You know what I mean? It didn't hit me till every time I left the studio, it hit me where I was and what I was doing. When the Black Album came out, it hit me. When I started to meet people on the street, it hit me to say, yo, man, you got a track behind Timberlands and before Eminem's. It's that stuff. So then when he started to do interviews, he would make sure he put my name last. Wow. You know, I always try to reach out to new talent, new producers, the Buchanans, Aqua, and this kid named Ninth Wonder, he gonna be serious. Like he kept saying it in every interview that he did.
Wow.
That's when it really became real. Yeah. Right. So it's
And it had to hit you when the publishing hit.
yeah, when the check hit.
Yeah. It's on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
but talk. But I mean that was again.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't know what was coming from me.
Let me ask you this: moving from that, because I mean your history is deep, but moving from that, where do you go? Like after Jay-Z.
Well, I'm glad you said that.
After Jay-Z goes on, okay. After Jay-Z goes on his, this is my last album, and he says your name in every interview. Like, what do you can't go to.
And see, that was the thing about it, man. I say it all the time. Like, a lot of people I went to high school with, college with, when I go to homecomings, from the South, so we do a lot of homecomings.
Right.
When I do this and that, blah, blah, blah. Last year when I did Kendrick Lamar's record and, just did Anderson .Paak, people will say to me, I don't want you to get the big head. I'm thinking, you late.
Right. That was the moment.
The big head moment was 15 years ago.
Hell yeah.
Right? That's the big head moment. So I'm like, I don't understand what that means about me doing that. I mean, it's Jay-Z will on a producer's timeline, Jay-Z will be the person you build up to.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
That was my first major label placement. And then when I'm gonna go somewhere, I went from Jay to the biggest selling pop girl group in the world at the time, Destiny's Child.
Wow.
Right after it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went from there to there, but I still didn't get lost in it because in between Jay-Z and Destiny's Child, I did Merce and Jean Grey. So
that balance.
Now, let me ask you this.
For sure.
Obviously, you're not selling the $500 beats no more.
Obviously not.
Okay. But how do you kind of, I don't know this. How do you kind of like weed out the bullshit in between those two things? Because you go Jay, Merce, Destiny's Child, Jean Grey. Like, how do you kind of weed out like the homies who kind of playing with rap on the weekend? Because I know they still looking at you like you the homie, but now it's business attached to Ninth Wonder. You
right. I don't have to weed it out. Jay-Z weeded it out for me.
That's it. They don't even do they even come at that point?
It's like they come, but they like they know it's a preference to come with it. Right. I know I can't afford you now. You know what I'm saying? Nah,
you ain't.
Nah,
that's crazy.
You can't. Nah, it's crazy.
So you just look them dead in the face and just say no.
Nah, I don't have to say anything.
Nah, they don't have
it's
to
like because where we from, man, it's like it's so funny, man, because on our Jamla squad too, we got a few new artists. Of course, Ian is one of them. My man Swank and Draft, and they're the youngest of the bunch. And I tell them, I say, man, people gonna treat you different just because you on this project. Yeah. And they couldn't see it until it came out, and then they would go around people, and people like, oh, I can't believe you in here chilling with us. Like people act funny, you know what I mean? Even when you try your best not to change, you know what I mean? Like, or it's all good. People look at you different.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, then.
The perception's gonna be there anyway.
Perception's gonna be there anyway. No matter what you try to do, man. No matter what you say, no matter whatever. Perception is gonna be there. If somebody looks at you in a certain way, no matter how nice you try to be to them, they're gonna think something else.
Wait, Random, which one of y'all said intoxicated? I like that, by the way. It was there you go. I like that. Just random as fuck, but I just remember when he said the name.
Chuck is now 2 years sober, by the way.
Yeah, so just brought me back. Brought me back a little bit. Now, okay, the Soul Council, man. Let's definitely talk about that because again, as far as the production, a lot of people, they know the name Ninth Wonder.
Yeah.
But they may not be too familiar with the Soul Council, but the Soul Council is obviously strongly attached to the brand as well.
Right.
So kind of talk about that, how you want people to know more about that and how they a big influence and help with the music as well.
I wanted, again, me being a hip-hop historian, man, I wanted to, do the same thing that Organized Noise, Beats by the Pound, the Bomb Squad, all of these great producer conglomerates forged the sound of their label.
For sure.
To having a home-based sound that you know what you're getting when you get us. We can grow, So it's myself, Crisis, E. Jones, Amp, Eric G, who, with Eric G, he's the only white boy in the bunch. He's from Seattle, but he's done 2 amazing records over the past couple of months. He did 2009, which is the last track on Mac Miller's album. Wow. And he did the amazing Mr. Fuck Up for T.I. He just dropped the video for. So, Eric G is doing great. Cash, who also serves as my label president as well. And last but not least, Knots, who from Virginia, who is a part of this Busta ELE celebration. He did Barry Bonds for Kanye. He did Girl You Know for Scarface. His list of production credits. That's that.
Right.
For Snoop.
God, Snoop. Yeah.
Listen,
Shouts out to Nas.
Listen. So that's our team, man. That's our team. Yeah.
Do you ever go in the studio and like hear some shit that one of the producers are working on and then want to do something to it? Or do you just kind of let hands off and let them do their?
We do a lot in post-production. Like, I trust my team to do what they do. But they do it to me, too. You know what I mean? They'll come by and say, man, why don't you do this? Or say something or whatever. But I still trust my team to do exactly what they do. You know what I mean? For the most part, yeah. And we do a lot together in post-production. Say, that works. No, that don't work. Let's do this. Let's switch the drums here or whatever. But I don't do... The one thing I don't do is put my name on their production.
Sweet, man.
Okay, bet.
If you go and look at our track list, people always ask, give me the track list.
Right.
Because they assume I did everything anyway.
Right.
Yeah, we'll put up the track list. It's like, Knife didn't do everything on this. You know what I mean? I don't put my name on none of my producer stuff.
I want to know this from you, in your own words. What's the difference between a producer and a beat maker?
A beat maker just send the beat off and hope you get a song back. One of the things that and take nothing away for beat makers who do that. You feed your family that way. We ain't talking about that. We talk if you feed your family, of course you got to get it. But the question was, can you produce a record? Can you get in the studio and quarterback a record from start to finish? That's the difference between. And when Jay cut his first and second verse, when Jay cut his first verse, the first thing he looked at me was like, all right, man, I'll be back. Produce the record when I'm gone. And I'm like, all right. So all the drops you hear and the tat and threat and all of that, that's me doing that. I'm going through now I'm actually sitting at the screen and I'm actually looking at Jay-Z's words and cutting and doing that. Me and Young Guru, like, you know what I mean? Because at that time I didn't know Pro Tools that well. So I was like, all right, put a tat here or drop it out right here, and Guru would do it for me, which through that whole process, he became one of my best friends, and now he's the director of operations for Jamla anyway.
Amazing.
So that's that's the biggest difference. I talk to a lot of producers all the time about there's one thing to sell beats online. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You making your money, you feeding your family, that's what it is. I don't care what kind of technology we get. You cannot beat human contact. You can't. Being in the studio with one of the greatest, you get so many jewels that helps you out through the rest of your career. The stuff I learned from Jay, the stuff I learned from Destiny's Child, the stuff I learned from Ludacris, the stuff I learned from David Banner, just being in the studio with these people, man, that's when you can't beat that, man. Right. And that's part of the producer experience a lot of beat makers are missing out on. And they may not even be their fault. They probably want to be in the studio with cats all the time. But if you have the chance to be in the studio with some of these rappers, man, that changes the dynamic of everything.
Now you just recently put out a beat kit, right?
Yeah,
the sound kit.
Yeah, last night.
Why was that something for you to actually do? Because I saw you tweet about it, and then the next day it was up.
The next thing you know, it was up.
Why was it important for you to do that?
It's Christmas, fam.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Fact, bro, what you mean?
Right.
It was Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, somebody, my man Jose came to me, man, and was like, yo, like, you ought to do that. Like, put it on your site. All right.
Yeah.
That was that morning.
Why wasn't it something that you had visited previously?
I've done it before, but I've always done it through the hands of somebody else.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
So for me doing it for me and coming straight to me, that's something else. But we're gonna do that.
Studio Ninth Wonder kit.
From a long time ago.
Long time, yeah.
And that was the fake jump.
Oh, really?
Crazy.
From a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fake.
Damn.
It was fake.
Yeah, fake.
Damn.
So wait, okay.
It's a cold world. Somebody hit me for $75 for that.
Hey, there was another one. There was another nigga.
Hey, he was hot right now.
There was another one like back in 2012,
Life come at you
2013. Around that time that I did with a company called The Drum Broker, we did that, and then that was the end of that, and then I decided to revisit it again, and so I did it and put it on my site, and Merry Christmas, nigga.
Yeah, works out. Now, a little earlier you mentioned that you don't put your name on anything that's not yours.
No.
Obviously, that comes from Soul Council, right?
Yeah,
Anybody
I don't.
involved. Now, what if the opportunity's out there to maybe put more money in the pocket of somebody that's helping out in the camp, right? So somebody approaches you for a beat.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody from the camp, Soul Council does it, but you charge that ninth render rate, and then you split it amongst the team.
That don't help them.
Okay.
They're going to blow through that money. We going to blow through that money.
Got you.
Not them. They're going to blow through that money.
Even with direction from ninth wonder to say, hey, look.
Nah, man. Come on. Grown men going to do what they're going to do.
Got you.
But, I mean, that doesn't help them because the only thing that helps you the most is your name.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If I can't, I need people to see your credits in there so you can go out and get your own jobs.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, prime example, when we were doing the business for the amazing Mr. Fuck Up and Cute and Tip. Tip called me. Tip called me and was like, yo man, like so I did a joint to one of your joints and I was like, that wasn't my joint. You know what I mean? He was like, I said, you remember the white kid that was in the studio who was playing the beat? Like, oh, yeah, that was his joint. He's like, yeah. He said, so you don't want Ninth One on that? I'm like, no. You don't want Ninth One on nowhere at all. No. Because I know I need Eric G to have that.
Right.
So that can be on his resume so he can go out and say, I did this, and this.
Right.
You'll never be able to you'll never be able to be in a city by yourself getting in the studio with anybody else if they still looking for me. You know what I mean? So now with the Mac Miller joint, and now with the Amazing Mr. Fuck Up, and now since the Grammy nom he had last year for Sassy, he can take those things and say, nah, I demand this. Like, and that's the only way your brand is gonna grow. You know what I'm saying? For me, I think.
Damn.
Hey, go ahead. No, I was gonna say you obviously Mac Miller was a close friend, close compadre of yours. Do you feel like the popularity of drug use is like consuming hip hop?
It's consuming America, bro. Like it's just.
I'm saying musically. I'm saying
I understand what you're saying.
It's at the forefront of music. Period.
Yeah, but I just think that we just get the bad rap for it. You know what I mean? As far as drugs in America or whatever it is, drugs is a hip hop problem. Now, this is an American, like this is a problem real estate brokers have. You know what I mean? This is across the board. Yeah. You know it's just the fact that those type of jobs don't make headlines. Mm-hmm. What makes headlines or what is clickbait is when a rapper does it or whatever, or a rapper dies or whatever. Then everybody's like, oh, we need to stop. Nah, man, like this is across the board. So I don't like when it's always pinned on rappers. Mm-hmm. Although we as the rap community need to handle our part, which is two totally different things. We need to handle our part, but at the same time, we shouldn't take the rap for it though.
I asked, I got a chance to talk to Beanie Siegel, and I asked him because this is a conversation I always had with my OG homies and shit in LA, and I told him, I was like, y'all were the sellers, like, and they because Beans and a couple other people I heard say this, like, now we in the era of the user, and as opposed to being a seller back in the day, right? So when I was growing up, I was watching Jay and Beans and all these people talk about being the seller. Right. Now everybody's the user, and that's the popular thing to do. But I asked Beans, I was like, if y'all are the seller, who do you think y'all was selling to?
Right.
So don't you got to kind of wear some of that responsibility?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. You know what I mean? But like Nino Brown said in New Jack City, ain't no poppy fields in Harlem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, straight up.
He said it. Yeah. And it's the same thing that Mo said, though. Mo said it on on hip hop on his album Black on Both Sides. Hip hop went from selling crack to smoking it, like he said it, and he said at the time, I don't think we was ready for that to come down, but you know that's where we at.
Now look again, you got a lot of talent on the label, obviously, and I know we I've said it throughout the night. We got time, so I want you to run down each of these cats, man, and let me know from you personally what was that moment where you were like, okay, yeah, they family. I want to bring them to the label. I want to make this official. Whether it was something that you came across, what made it stand out for you to say, yeah, we're gonna make this happen? Because I'm sure you run into thousands of talent. But
You know what? Yeah, and it's never a I meet Knife. I gave him my CD. He listened to it. He called me back. It never works that way. Ever. You know what I mean? It's always everybody behind me. If you ask them, we all met different ways.
Word.
So if I start with Crisis, I met Crisis. He was 17 years old. Like I thought the boy need Ritalin at the time, and he was sitting on. He came to my college dorm room. He was sitting up on he wasn't sitting in the chair. He was sitting up on the back of the chair. And I was like, man, if you don't get this little boy out of here, man.
Right.
But he had an incredible talent. You know what I mean? And he, for the most part, cracked the code. Crisis cracks the code of any machine we bring in that place. And he cracked the code of Fruity Loops in 2000.
Wow.
And was like, yo, he was using it. And like, you need to start using it. And I'm like, I'm gonna start messing with it. And that's what it was. Great. So that's where, that's how I met Crisis. Right. That was, and I was at North Carolina Central. He was in high school at Durham Hillside.
Wow.
So that's when I met Crisis.
Yeah.
Jones, I judged the beat battle at North Carolina Central that Jones lost.
Oh, so he took that L.
So you felt bad. So he's like, you pitied him. And all right, next.
How bad was the L though?
Nah, it wasn't bad, man.
But
it was
man. Keep it a buck though.
Nah.
No.
Keep it serious.
Hold on.
I'm serious.
Keep it a buck.
It wasn't.
Was his shit trash?
No.
Okay.
No, he came in second.
Okay.
He came in. He came in fifth.
Right.
He made it to the final round.
We'll talk about that in a second.
And it was, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jones, wasn't the decider like crowd like yelling or whatever. So it was like,
Make
couple
some noise.
decibels off. Either one. You know what I mean?
Well, no, you can look at it like this. It's kind of like this. How it look like certain fast food. You know what I'm saying? You go through. It's the best of the bullshit.
Come on,
Nah,
man.
it wasn't that.
It wasn't that. Okay.
Nah, it wasn't that, man.
So he trying to start some shit now.
And at the time, well, he going all the way.
Hold on.
He going all the way.
Shit. Right.
So, I went. I had a studio that was on campus at North Carolina Central, which is crazy. That's where we recorded. Like me and Wiley recorded Back to the Feature and stuff like that. And Jones came by one day, man, and we started talking. And I wasn't even thinking about Jamla at the time. We just started doing music, and that was it. Wow. So that was Jones. Ruben, which I was in Berlin, Germany. And we had a couple of days off. We was on tour, a couple of days off. And I always get links sent to me on Twitter all the time. And one day I was just sitting in the room. I was dog tired, man. Just going through Twitter. And somebody hit me. One of the names I recognize a lot, that like is a supporter of mine, hit me and said, yo, check this kid out. I think he's dope. I don't know the kid. And he said, I don't know the kid. I don't have a dog in this fight.
Wow. Dude, I just told somebody the other day that it's important for the fans to vouch for your music. It's okay for the A&R or the producer or your homie. That's cool. But if you got a fan that's going out of their way, like he said, he had nothing attached to it, and now look at that.
And that's what it was. Wow. Most people were like, check my mans out.
Exactly.
And they say that because they want to be put on tour in a way.
Of course.
This dude was like, I don't even know this kid.
Right.
Check him out.
And how old was he at the time?
13.
Wow.
He was 13.
He was 13. Wow. And so I listened to him, and I was like, he had said something, and then he said a rhyme. He said something about Rakim in it. I was like, wait a minute.
The seed has been planted.
Yes, sir.
Man.
So he came. His mom brought him up to the studio, and mom brought him up there, and he's of Liberian descent. So mom's brought him up there, man, and not knowing a lot of the business, I told her, I said, I'm not gonna promise you anything about your son, but he's gonna learn a lot, and that's what it was. And at the time, his voice hadn't changed yet.
He was still
And
going
so
through
I was
that.
waiting for that to happen.
Right.
But he the first weekend he came up, he recorded 13 songs in the weekend, and I don't think I ain't feed him nothing with Capri Sun. What you Nestle Quick
Pop Tarts and Capri Sun.
That's all he wanted. So he had pizza and stuff too. So it was crazy. But
You ain't gonna get your publishing, but you can get some
Now
Capri
he's running a
Suns.
sweatshop down there in North Carolina.
and it was crazy, man. I'm like, what you want to do? Man, I like Nestle Quick.
All
And
right,
I
cool. We're
I
gonna
need
write that in.
3,000
Pop-Tarts.
songs by next
So
week.
we had
And then you start pressing up them merch. Damn, nice.
So we had Pop Tarts in there, and he had pizza, and I didn't know it was a slumber party or what was going on. Like, man, it's whatever. He wasn't sleeping. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So 4 years later,
Amazing,
he's about to
man.
graduate from high school
Amazing.
January 30th.
And I think that's important too. The
He's
fact
been
that you're still in
accepted to
school, man, amazing.
universities,
What's up, dog?
and we working on the third. That's hopefully he's gonna get accepted to that's closer to us.
Absolutely, man. That's amazing. That's a good,
So that's
great
that.
story.
There you
man.
go.
Mr. Insta-Faded.
Mr. Ian Kelly. His first rap name was Kels, and we was like, we can't do that.
No. We're not gonna run with that.
We can't do that. We
Yeah,
can't.
it could be a little tricky.
I said, we can't do that,
You know
man.
what I'm saying?
We ain't gonna be able to do it.
Not in this climate.
Right.
You don't
Not in
want
this climate.
you don't want that kind of heat.
I said, no.
You can do shows in Chicago. I'm just saying.
It just wasn't working, man. It just wasn't working. Not, you know what I mean? It just wasn't working. Just
leave it at that.
I said we gotta change the name. But past all that, man, it's just he came over. Him and Q had been friends. He came over one summer to hang out, and he did music and got in. We started doing music or whatever, and he just kept coming back. And that's what it was, you know what I mean? Didn't promise him anything either. He just kept coming back. And the one thing I liked about Ian was his work ethic, striving to get better. I didn't have to be there saying, do this. I can leave him in the studio, be gone, do what I got to do, come back. Man, I got songs. Until we started to listen to me and Cash started listening to these songs like, well, he got something. We need to do something with it. And so we just brought him on the team, and that was it. Heather,
Cold voice, by the way.
Heather went to NC State on North Carolina State University and heard about my class at North Carolina Central.
Wow.
And so she transferred schools to
Damn.
North Carolina Central. And at the time I was teaching the hip hop class, and they had about 110 kids in it, something. And it was in the auditorium. And so one day after class, she walked up to me and said, hey, you Knife Wonder? I was like, yeah. So we had a conversation, and she said, I want to play some music for you. And I was like, all right, we about to go to the studio now. So when I used to go to the studio, I have students with me, we all walk to the studio together. So we go in the studio, because the studio at Central at that time was the hangout. It was people did their homework, we ate, we talked or whatever, you know what I mean? And so she came in one day and she played some music for me and Jones, because Jones was a regular at this particular time. Mm-hmm. So she played music for us, and we was like, wow, this is dope. You know what I mean? And so
At that time, how many other people played music for you that possibly was a student or that?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot.
Got you.
Definitely not a lot of singers.
Got you.
Okay. And so after that, we brought on the team, and, we did some R&B projects, but then, recently we found out that her granddad, Mr. Thomas Gavin, is the father of Fayetteville State University's band. He played in he started the Black Naval Band in the 1940s. Wow. And his homeboy was a jazz musician by the name of Lou Donaldson. So we found that out, and we started playing all the stuff live, and that's how you got Japan.
Wow.
Bam.
Wow.
Ain't crazy?
I mean,
That's what's up.
Bugged out.
And the fact that you don't even start with that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Because some people would use that as an entry point, like, hey, and just use that as a way to get in.
Yeah, we no idea, man. Wow. And we found out about it. And it was like, man, you just feel more comfortable in this space than you do in a regular
speaks to your
R&B
point too,
space.
Earlier saying you just never know who you're gonna run into or who you're gonna talk to, and you got to treat people the right way.
Never.
So that's dope.
Never at all. Q,
Small forward.
point guard.
Point guard?
He was a guard.
Damn.
He was a guard. By design,
Well, he's small forward to me. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Sure that.
by design, we're supposed to be sworn enemies. I teach at Duke. I'm a Duke fan, and so you know how that goes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that shit real then.
Yeah, it's real.
That
but
shit.
me and Q, we never, whatever. Look, we never.
You know,
We talk about ball. We talk about basketball. It is what it is. But Q's story is interesting because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Q was recruited by Roy Williams, who was at Kansas at the time. Roy Williams got the job at Carolina, and Q went him to Carolina. So by design, Q was supposed to be a Jayhawk.
Wow.
Right? But the way I met Q was a newspaper writer hit me up from the area and said, "Man, do you know Quentin Isaiah Thomas?" I said, "The basketball player?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "He rhymes." And, I was always leery of basketball players who rap.
I'm still leery of them.
We have better ones now. With Damian Lillard and Marvin Bagley, and you know what I mean? There's some cats that can go.
Shaq.
Shaq, but still is that he still got the biggest record.
Right,
You can't stop the rain.
Right.
What's up, Doc?
No, we
fam.
adopted Shaq. Shaq is West Coast.
Whatever it is. Right.
He's like, you can take that. Go ahead.
So he called outstanding. Man, Shaq got some records.
Right.
I got records though.
Man,
I think that's what Murr said. Murr's hot because
Wasn't
Shaq
my
got a
father
platinum black and he don't.
involved in that joint? Ain't that the joint too?
Yeah, that was one of these Shaq food.
No, we did.
Yeah, man, Shaq
Yeah,
got
he
about
got-
5, 6.
right.
We talked.
Shaq, you watching, boy.
Right.
Let me tell you.
Hey, we
Let
talked
nobody
to-
tell you. You got some records.
We talked to Merce. He said he was hot that Shaq got a platinum plaque and he don't. He's a little bitter about that.
Very hot.
Anyway, go ahead.
It's my brother.
Shout out to Q.
Man, listen. So I was talking. So he called me. And at the time, it's a crazy story, man. At the time we talked, he said, "Man, I'm coming home." I said, "Where are you?" So I'm in Los Angeles. I got to try out with the Lakers, right?
Oh shit.
And he said, "I'm trying out with the Lakers, man, but I'm coming home, and I want to sit down and have a meeting with y'all." I said, "All right, cool." You know what I mean? And so then he called me back shortly afterwards. I don't know if it was a couple of days or whatever. He said, "I'm coming home earlier than expected because I blew my knee out."
Damn.
So I was like, all right. So he came home, and him and another homie, Mike Copeland, that also played at Carolina, was from my hometown in Winston-Salem, came with him. And they came to the studio, and the first thing he played for me was a record he freestyled over Get Money by Junior Mafia. And he played it for me, and I just looked at him like, what the hell is this? And so Q was like probably the first rapper that I had under me that I got a check for. Well, he earned a check, but I actually can say here, he did a record with David Banner for 2009 NBA Live. So if you go back and look for it, it's up.
Damn.
So he did that record, you know what I mean, and that's what it was. So that's how I met everybody.
That's crazy. I mean, and I love that everybody's story is unique to
It's
itself and that
different.
you
Yeah, it's
remember like
different.
that's
different.
That's dope.
Real quick, I know we're gonna finish up in a second, but I want to talk about Rhapsody.
Okay.
Layla's Wisdom,
Yep.
by far one of my favorite albums
Okay.
that came out the
Yeah.
year. And now this is coming from someone. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I think I don't. Did you get my apology? I sent an apology via Bad Luck. He probably fucked that up.
He's like, actually, I did not.
Okay, so you don't remember.
Okay.
I hit Luck, and I issued a public. I got on this radio station,
Okay.
and I issued a public apology because I slept
Oh, okay.
on that album.
Okay. Everybody did. Yeah.
That shit was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I listened to the whole album. I'm a skimmer. I'm a DJ, so I'm listening. I'm skimming. I'm listening. What?
I told him another thing, but I forgot that part. Go ahead.
Yeah. Come on.
God damn it! I knew.
So you fucked it up.
First
So
of all, that's my
Luck fucked
bad.
it up.
Trust a nigga named Bad Luck. You know what I'm saying?
To that.
I apologize for that.
Okay.
But I do want to say this face to your face though. I slept on that project.
Right.
Like when I first, because I was like, I'm gonna get to it, and I'm a DJ, so I'm skimming for shit I could play.
Right.
I'm never listening to a project
Just for enjoyment.
on some leisure shit.
Right, of
It's
course.
very rare that I listen to leisure music. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because I'm consuming so much as part of the job.
feel it.
So when I finally got to listen to that project as a cohesive body of work, I hit everybody I know that even appreciates music. You gotta hear this shit. And me and Charlemagne was going back and forth like, yo, have you heard Rhapsody shit? He was like, bro, this shit is. And so we got into this dialogue about how good the album was. I didn't even know that he was gonna talk to her about it. But it was just like, it was that good. And I was just like, and then I came up here and I issued an apology. Like, I slept on this shit. Y'all really need to get a bar of this. Don't go to this song with this. You guys start it and let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I did want to say that to you though.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
But not only that, the Grammy nod and all that, like, that's huge for me
Well-deserved,
personally. Well deserved, because it's like I always felt like Rhapsody can rap. Everybody know that. Like, she rap circles around a lot of motherfuckers I know.
Yeah, 95%.
But like for her to finally get that I don't want to say recognition, but that
I get it.
that respect.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? Was big to me. But coming from you, what like how did that feel? Because we haven't talked since then.
I mean, it's just, you know, it just really certified what we already knew anyway. You know what I mean? That your time is coming regardless of what. And you got to think, Layla's Wisdom is her 8th project.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, it is what it is. But the biggest test for me is when we went around and played it for everybody.
It's the reactions.
The reactions of people who, again, who ain't got a dog in the fight. I think the first person we played it for, even the first bits and pieces of rough songs we played it for, was Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Funny about that is that was the same night I gave him beats that ended up being Duckworth.
Crazy.
It happened all in that was a crazy day in LA that day anyway, because at 1:00 we was with Snoop at his studio in his compound. 6:00 we was with Dre. 11 we was with Kendrick. And I looked at, I was like, you know, ain't too many East Coast cats can come over here and do that.
Right.
In one day.
Not even close. Not
Right.
even one month.
Right. Exactly. So that
We still don't know what Dre is. I heard Dre hold up in the studio with snipers.
That's
That's
you
a
know,
fact.
I always judge, like, you know, where I can go and who I meet, man, is where I am on the scale of things, right? And so that's what it was. So we played Kendrick the first like pieces of the album, and he told us then, this one's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, for real? You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna do it. And so we played it for him, and then the next person we played for from top to bottom, when it was more refined and more polished, was Busta Rhymes. And he was like, bruh. Yeah, he was like, man, this is
sitting
crazy.
on some shit.
Yeah, you sitting on some shit. And so every person we played it for, man, had the same reaction. Nobody we ever played for that was a participant in this culture. Not a blogger, not a podcast person.
Right.
A participant in this culture, you know, said, look, listen. And not only that, we started getting like, not we, take it back, no, she started getting things from like people we didn't even think that was even listening to whatever. First person was Charlemagne.
Wow.
The second person was Joe Budden.
Wow.
By design, people look at them as the ones that hate everything.
Of course.
Right.
And both of them came together on it and was like, when Joe Budden had the show, he was like, ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the Rhapsody album?
Wow.
Right.
Like, and that was just so huge to us. So, you know, that's what it is. But this next one, bruh.
Fucking only imagine. Only imagine. She in there working right now, you say?
Yeah, you know, we were, after the success of Layla's Wisdom from a critical standpoint, we really had to think like, man, what we gonna do next? And we found it. We found what we gonna do next.
Because the eyes are there. You know what I'm saying? The eyes are there, which is even better.
It's obliterates Layla.
Did you feel I know you can't speak, or you probably can't speak on her behalf. I'd rather hear her words. But was there vindication, like getting that? Okay, I figured that.
Yeah, because you know she was in the category with Jay, Kendrick, Migos, Tyler.
Yeah.
She was the 5th woman in history to ever be nominated for a Grammy for Best Rap Album.
Yeah. Wow. It just felt like the energy around it. It felt like a vindication. It felt like finally, like
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's kind of like, just from a spectator and a fan, it felt like crossing the finish line of a marathon. Like it's like you said, it's been album upon album upon album, and then finally getting that look or getting that respect. I call it respect. Getting that respect from the peers. It was like one of them type of dishes.
Yeah, it was one of those type of deals, man. You know, I have been lucky to have a lot of great hip hop conversations in my life with a lot of legends. The biggest one I've had to me that affected my career the most is the one I had with Pete Rock in 2002, right? But the one I just had a couple of nights ago, like rivals that one, and it's the one I had with Queen Latifah. And
Word.
Listen, yo, man, like, listen, I've always heard that she was one of the best people to know personally, just from being a good person in the game and doing so much and being so diverse in everything that she does. But the thing about Latifah that hits home is she's like a big sister, homegirl type of feeling, type of person. And so when I talked to her on the phone, we talked about rap. And, you know, rap's biggest thing is she loves that everybody loves the music, but it means a lot to her when Latifah and Light and Lauren and these people, even when Cardi B shouted that out that time, it's like, you know, she believes 100% in sisterhood, and she doesn't like when women are pit against each other.
Right.
She rather get with all the women and go directly at the men.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We put up a list on Twitter last year and said, these are all the people that rap has rapped with. And y'all still want to call her a female MC. From Big Crit to Kendrick 3 times, to Absol, to Nipsey Hussle, to Black Thought twice. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what it is. So, you know, to hear Queen to say she was a fan and that she supported her and stuff like that, that was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge.
So look, I got 2 more questions. I know we got to wrap things up, but shout out to my man E. He runs the camera, but he runs this thing called On This Date in Hip Hop, right? And one thing that popped up and surfaced, was all across the internet, is the fact that little brother hopped on stage for the first time. Wow. What? And it just happened randomly, right? What happened?
It was random as hell. It was
No, I'm saying it was like
random.
literally. It was
so
like,
random.
yo,
it was random. It was
Shout out to my nigga Pooh.
It was shots to Big Pooh. It was during Art of Cool Festival in Durham, North Carolina Jazz Festival, but I also do hip hop as well. And I was in Durham. It's Durham, North Carolina. And I was in Durham, and then Fonte called me and he said, "What's up? What you doing?" And it's so funny. I just saw him the night before because I DJ'd with Spinderella the night before.
Shouts out to Spin.
I saw him outside. We standing outside a food truck selling fish plates, and we was talking. So, you know, we was out there, and, you know, just like I see him all the time. We talk, whatever. When me and Fonte get on the phone, we stay on the phone 3 hours. I look at the phone, it's 3 hours and past. So, next day come around, he hit me. I was like, "What's up, man?" He was like, "Man, what you doing?" I said, "I'm in Durham. I'm at this event." "What's up?" "It's 5 in the afternoon." He said, "Man, so check it. Royce the 5'9" missed his flight. He's supposed to perform. It's supposed to be Royce, not Erykah Badu, Nas. I think that was the order. Or Royce, Nas, Erykah Badu.
Right.
Was supposed to perform that night. They were the headliners that night. And he was like, Royce missed his flight. So our homie Suleiman, who does the festival, needed a replacement. And he was like, he called Fonte to do it. Well, the little brother DJ, tour DJ, is DJ Flash. Well, I part of DJ Flash. And he said, "Man, I called Flash. I can't get a hold of Flash. What you doing? Can you DJ this show for me?" I said, "Well, yeah, you know, what they talking about bread? What's up with the bread? You know?" And he was like, "We gonna figure that out. You know, he gonna hit me up." He said, "But what do you think? What do you think of us calling Pooh?" And I said to him on the phone, I said, "You open up a can of worms, homie. You know what I mean?" He's like, "Man, it's just," he said, "We in Durham. It is what it is." Our first picture we took as a group, professional photos, was in Durham Bulls, in front of the brand new Durham Bulls Athletic Park.
Damn.
which that's where the concert was going on that
It's
night.
like, come on, man.
Right.
If that ain't God,
it was
just
all
like,
crazy.
hey, you know what I mean?
Sometime,
So we called.
That's God throwing
He
the
said,
alley-oop
I
right
said,
there.
all right. He said he called Pooh on the three-way. He called him, and he said if Pooh lives in Charlotte, which is 2.5 hours away from Raleigh, Durham. He said Pooh ain't in town because Pooh spends a lot of time in Los Angeles.
Yes, he does.
If Pooh's not in town, there's no go.
To be, yeah.
Pooh answers the phone. So where you at? I'm in Charlotte.
It's
Why, what's
crazy.
up?
I'm actually right down the street.
Yeah. He said, I'm in Charlotte. He said, well, man, you know, Suleiman wants to do this show. We're going to do it. Can you be up here by 7:30? 7:45. Pooh said, all right. So Pooh went home. He got, changed clothes or whatever. And it was a frenzy that night.
I can imagine.
And then so we all, I had none of the TV tracks. So we finally got in touch with Flash. I left there, go meet Flash in the Target parking lot. Our cars is parked parallel to each other. We got laptops on top of the cars.
Working
It
shit
looked like
out.
a drug deal, bro. We at the top. And I'm getting files from him. I got Fonte on the speakerphone. And he like, all right, so what we gonna do? And so I'm naming songs. He like, I don't know if I know that song. What about that? So we're coming up with a set list.
Wow.
That fast.
Wow.
So then we turn around, go back. Pooh get there. I show Pooh the set list. Pooh like, nah, we can't do that song because I don't know. We get to that song. He's like, let me say the words. Yeah, I know that one.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is all happening in rapid time. And so Fonte get there and we do the show. And it's like we never left stage. It happened just like that. So that's what it is. So, and it was a one-shot deal, man.
Yeah.
We had a good time, but that was good for everybody to see.
Of course.
Because nobody thought that we were cool.
Right,
Nobody
right.
thought that we were. Everybody thought we were speaking, or two of us speaking, one of us wasn't.
Right.
Whatever it was, that was just good for everybody to see, and it felt good.
It was great for hip hop, for sure.
Damn,
For sure.
that's
Definitely.
crazy as fuck.
Last question I do have. What's your definition of a classic? Right? It gets thrown around in hip hop a lot. Oh, this album's a classic. Something drops, it's, this is a classic. Like, well, give it time to breathe. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I got into an argument with these stupid ass people. Listen, bro.
I got into an argument.
These stupid ass people.
Stupid ass.
Who was the stupid one for arguing with him?
No, he was watching me. I was arguing with these. It's
Stupid one for arguing.
Damn came out. The album Damn came out,
Yep.
and it dropped Friday. And not even 10 hours later,
It's a classic.
I'm not saying it's not.
No, that's what people were saying. These people
But
saying
it was
a
like, bro, like you ain't even got to track 10 yet.
You didn't heard Duckworth yet. Shit.
Like, what are you? So anyway, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I digress.
I
that shit pissed me off.
Is there a time
yeah,
limit
man.
I ain't even
for a
ran through the
classic?
album a whole cycle yet, and it's a classic.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, go ahead.
But do you feel like there's a timeline for a classic?
bullshit.
Like, does it have to have a certain run of years, or what is it based off of for you?
I mean, for me, first we got to understand for this generation of kids who listen to music, man, they digest music different than we do. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. They haven't had time to be around to say Illmatic is a 24-year classic. 25 years.
They are 24.
24 years. They are 24.
Yeah.
They don't have that opportunity. You know what I mean? To say, so they're trying to make the new ones. They're trying to come up with the new classics or whatever. So, and I get that, but I do agree you can't. If an album comes out at 12 o'clock at 12:10, you can't say it's a classic.
Okay, thank you.
I do say I do agree with that, but you got to understand the kids. The kids, they listen to music, they're excited. Their favorite person is out. It's classic material to them.
Yeah.
But for me, albums that stand the test of time. Social impact, and I'm not talking social impact on some conscious or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What did it have on the society it's dealing with? The people that's in the area. You know what I mean? I did not grow up in Memphis. I cannot say. Well, let me take. I didn't grow up in Memphis, but objectively, I have to rely on the people in Memphis to tell me that one of them Project Pat albums is a classic.
Right.
I can't say, well, I don't know nothing about it.
Right.
The scholar in me can't say that. I have to understand that I wasn't there when it came out. I don't know what it did for me when I was maybe riding to school or whatever it is. So I can't argue with somebody from Memphis who grew up in that culture that say that Project Pat album ain't no classic.
So is it?
And it don't mean as much as to them than Illmatic meant to me. I can't say that.
Got you. So it's not completely like based on region.
Nah, region is one of it. Standing the test of time, production, lyrics, the album cover means a lot. You know what I mean? If you can
artwork.
Look the artwork, right?
Damn.
If you can look at the artwork, like Get Rich or Die Trying,
Deceive.
Illmatic,
Right.
all them out. Well, Aquemini,
Yeah.
The Blueprint. Like you can look at the art. Those Kanye's albums, the three, whatever.
Right.
Those first three. Like those joint, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, like those joints look, it's just classic material. You know what I mean? Even the new ones, To Pimp a Butterfly, 2014. Like those are images that's gonna be stuck in hip hop forever. You know what I mean? So, that's what it is. Like all of those combined makes up an album that's deemed a classic to me.
So, in your words, do you think a classic can be deemed within a year?
I think it can be deemed in a matter of months.
Okay.
We didn't need that long to figure out that the Midnight Marauders.
True.
We didn't need that long to figure.
Right.
We didn't need that long to figure out that the Chronic
Yeah.
is going to be around forever.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just the way it came on. This is for the niggas that were down day one. Ching ching. Welcome to Death Row.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a movie. Like, it's ready.
Right.
Like, you know what? Albums don't even start that way anymore. The record just come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, and Dre is a master of that. Like, making sure the intro was so incredible. Games, the first Game album, the documentary.
Oh my God, yeah.
A lot of people like that talking, and I play the game, and then the record come on.
Yeah. You're right.
Like, you know what I mean? The beginning of Midnight Marauders. Hello, this is your Midnight Marauder program. It's like you're getting ready to, you have no choice but to listen to the whole thing because it's the way the album starts.
Right.
So that's just what it is, man. But you have to know hip hop and know the history of the music to be able to compare albums like that. When people say this is the greatest rapper of all time, nigga, you ain't heard every rapper.
Right. How you know?
How you know? You just start listening to rap 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you have to go back and, and of course you can't expect the 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds, they're going to be energetic and say, this is the best of all time,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. I thought at age 13, when Any Heartbreak came out, the New Edition is the greatest R&B group of all time. And it would look at my uncles and aunts stupid if they thought any other way.
Yeah.
New Edition is the great.
Right.
Until I started listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire for real. And I said, later on I went back, I take it all back. I didn't know what I was saying. But I mean, that's just, it's his youth, man,
Let me ask you this last thing. Are there any classic trap songs?
What? Yeah.
Which ones?
Move That Dope by Future.
So okay, so let me ask you this.
Slum Anthem by K-Camp.
This is why I'm asking you.
Y'all will get slayed.
Man.
What?
This is why I'm asking you. I'm not gonna put him on blast, but I got into an argument with a musician, and they were saying that.
Put him on the same, was it?
No.
Okay, hold him
great.
accountable.
Trust me. Trust me.
You want to do it? Okay.
I'd be mad as you argue with him too.
But basically, he was saying that the music has to be live instrumentation to stand the test of time.
That's not true.
It can't be electronic.
That's not true.
Okay, bet.
That's not true.
Okay.
Was that person from the West Coast? I think I know.
It has to be live instrumentation.
I know exactly who you're talking about. That sounds like somebody we know.
What?
I'm just go ahead, process. Just tell
It
me
has
what
to be
you.
live instrumentation.
Not electronic produced sounds. It has to be live. Something. Some part of it has to be played from a live instrument in order.
Some part of it, not all.
All of it.
Some part has to be played from a live. Why?
I'm just asking.
It was funny to me, even when people get on us about sampling and playing whatever, like playing keys or whatever, like matter was neither created or destroyed, bro. So therefore, you didn't come up with the tone for C. Somebody said this is a C.
Right.
This is a D. and I'm going to tune this piano to call it a D. You didn't make that sound.
Right.
Yeah.
It is manufactured for you.
Fact.
So your manufactured D is the same thing as my drum pad. So we're all playing something.
Right.
So what's live and what's not? You didn't make the piano, bro. You didn't make the saxophone. I used to get in arguments with keyboard producers all the time. I'm playing keys. No, you ain't. Tink, tink, to tink, tink. Ain't playing no keys, bro.
Tink, tink, to tink, tink.
Oh, quote that.
It's just not.
Quote
like
that.
you're not gonna send. You ain't playing no chords.
Yeah.
You're not doing this and understand majors and minors and chord progressions and all that. You tink to tink, 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 tink to tink, and saying that's playing and gonna get on me for going through this record and piecing together a chord progression. Man, get out of here. So that's what it is. So it's not a matter whether you use a piano, man, or use Ableton Live, man. Just make something dope. Because even Sly and the Family Stone use a drum machine.
Bet.
That's just what it is, man.
Yeah.
I do want to on record just say thank you for appreciating Los Angeles culture from not only the music that you produce, but from being out here and really like there's people that tap in or come out here and they don't appreciate the culture. They come in, they fly out. What's your term? They pillage the resources.
I say they fly in here, they pillage the resources. No, on some real shit.
Some serious.
And he's speaking on behalf of both of us because we born and raised in LA. And so my thing is, people know me. I'm biased. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I love my home, right? Just like you do. But what I'm saying is, like, most people that come here, they come here to do music business. So they either get in the studio, they go into the movie, whatever. But my thing is, like, they fly in here on a Thursday, they do the radio, they go to the club, they pop our bottles, smoke our weed, fuck our bitches, and fly the fuck out of here.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that sound like a virus to me.
Right, straight up. Village of resources.
Natural resource.
Right.
A resource so natural.
Right.
Nah, man. You know.
So anyway, what he was saying is, we appreciate what you bring. People, I'm not asking for people not to get to-go boxes. I'm just saying, nigga, bring something to the potluck.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Outside of the people that listen to, and I'm speaking to Little Brother, and even speak for me as a separate entity as well. Outside of the people that supported us at home, the cats we went to school with, because we had a lot of dollars at home, but we had some supporters too. A lot of our homeboys and homegirls went to school with that watched us and said, man, y'all gonna be something. The first two cities as a whole to love us was Oakland, California, and Los Angeles, California.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Those are the first two cities. And ABB was in Oakland, but the thing about LA is that they really embraced me. I've really, since for the last 15 years, embraced me. When I used to DJ, I was DJing a do-over in 2006, 2007. Wow. Whether it be black people or white people, but most importantly, the Latino population.
Exactly.
Because it was because of Merce. When me and Merce started doing shows, and we would do House of Blues in Santa Ana, the El Rey, the Observatory in Santa Ana, and do all these places, it's 95% Latino population.
That's a fact.
Yep.
And I'm looking around like, wow. You know what I mean? So that was huge. It's always home when I come here.
Yeah.
I felt more home here sometimes than I did at home.
Wow.
And that's, whether that be by design, but I met a whole lot of great people here. Yeah. Since I've been coming in for the last 15 years.
Perfect.
I joined Zulu Nation here. From Merz to Kendrick to Anderson .Paak to everybody, from Ty Cannon, Dr. Dre, list goes on. Mr. Chalk, Fuzzy, Terrace Martin, Nipsey Hussle, everybody, man. I just feel at home here, man, for real.
And to close things out, man, what does homegrown mean to you?
Man, just homegrown mean to me, man, home support, man. Like, you gotta make, you don't have to, but it's always important to make people feel like prophets in their own land. And sometimes we don't. You know what I mean? Sometimes because you see a person all the time, you're more infatuated with the things you can't touch. And that's just what it is. But, you know, it's people here in Los Angeles is doing a lot of great music, man. It's so many artists here. Like we talked about the South.
Yeah.
And the South is running radio and the sound and trap and all of that stuff. Musically, LA is crushing.
Oh, of course.
Oh my
Totally
G, like
agree.
geez, generation wise, you got people all the way going back to the Silvers and Herbie Hancock and her mom and us, the Emotions, all the way coming all the way up to Buddy.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, once we start doing that with Dr. Dre sitting in the middle,
Right.
and Snoop doing him, and it's just so many musicians out here, man.
Amazing, yeah.
And some still coming, man. I just spent a couple of days in the studio with Daylight.
Oh man, amazing.
And it's like
They like crazy.
Amazing.
look, listen. So it's just so much, man. It's so many musicians out here, and they still believe in music. They can they expect to turn up and, you know, whatever. It's all music, but just making music, man. And this is the fact you can come out here and still find an SSL boy in the studio. Lets you know that
It's music happening.
It's music here.
Last thing. Thoughts on Nipsey. Nipsey's album Victory Lap. Obviously, he got that Grammy nod.
Yeah, man.
And like I feel like another vindication.
Yeah, man, Nipsey deserved that. Nipsey, I met Nipsey a long time ago, man, and you know, it was funny. Nipsey, along with Big Sean, was the first person to make me realize, okay, Knife, you're now an OG. Because when Nipsey, every time I talked to Nip or I would see him, he would say, "What's up, OG?"
Yeah.
And to hear him say that, I'm like,
Okay, gotta wear that.
yeah. So that's, you know, that's the thing about it. But he deserves it 100%. And, you know, I spoke to him, you know, via text and DM, whatever. And I talked to him. I said, man, congratulations, man. Like, I said, it's your first Grammy nom? He's like, yeah. I said, live it up. You deserve it. You know, red carpet, everything.
Everything.
Because you are authentic, the culture.
For sure.
So,
Man,
yeah.
Ninth Wonder, thank you so much for coming
And
on.
shout out
through.
to my team,
Absolutely.
man. Please.
Jamla Records, man. Jamla's a Squad 2 is available right now. Go on to grab that, support that.
And Kelly Champion is available right now.
Please.
Zion 3 is coming out Friday.
Absolutely.
Glad we finally got to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute for me. Long time ago.
I walked in a crazy conversation when I came here, though.
Man, look forward to doing this again, man. Ninth
Yes, sir.
Wonder is Chuck Dizzle, DJ Head, Homegrown Radio.